What if you can go back in time and be an early investor in Ethereum or be an early investor in Bitcoin? What if that opportunity presented itself to you again right now in the year 2022? Today, we're breaking down Nervos Network, combination of a store of value token with the capacity and capability to run smart contracts like Ethereum. Best of both worlds from Bitcoin, Ethereum brought together. If it's your first time here, my name's Ryan, No Autopilot YouTube channel. What I do here is I do deep dives into tokens, try and share as much information as I can, as much alpha as I can with you, so you can make the best investment decision that you can. Quick shout out to my Patreon. If you want to see my portfolio, get some exclusive shout outs, things I'm seeing in the market that might be interesting to you, may want to take a look at joining our Patreon. So let's jump into this thing. The Nervos Network. A couple things that they're standing out right here. Access to any asset on any blockchain. Okay, if you've been following cryptocurrency for a while, this is huge. The first blockchain that's going to be able to actually do this, not just say it, but actually do it, is going to have a massive amount of total value lock flow into it, a ton of users, retail users who have never used crypto before. This is a big deal. Operate dApps from any wallet or any solution. You're no longer going to be siloed with your MetaMask, if you're Ethereum, with your Binance wallet. Code flexibility, allowing developers to bring dApps from anywhere, any blockchain, into the Nervos system using their Ethereum virtual machine. And then layer 2 scaling solutions to make sure transactions are cheap, fast, and secure. Dig it? Dug it? Good. The way I would look at this thing, look at the Nervos Network, it's like a passport, okay? Just like a US passport. If you go to another country, you show your passport, they understand who you are, where you came from, and then they allow you in. And that's what Nervos is trying to do with their protocol, okay? So you have a digital passport that goes where you go and allows you to engage in different blockchains, dApps with minimum friction. Friction being pain in the ass, wallets, security codes, understanding different networks, all that you don't have to worry about anymore. That's the goal of the Nervos system. A couple other things. Secure and decentralized. So they use the optimized Nakamoto consensus, secured through proof of work, okay? So that's miners out there, validating transactions, getting rewards in return for that work. Sustainable store of value. The economic model behind this thing is intended to go ahead and have the price appreciate over time. Stay the same or appreciate over time. And it's a layer 1 built with the vision of needing and using layer 2 scaling solutions. So I think the first thing that we need to take a look at is gold forecasts. Everyone compares Bitcoin to gold. It's the digital gold. It's more transferable. You don't have to worry about storage. It's more secure. It's predicted that as we move forward, 2025, 2030, 2035, that gold will continue to be a hedge against inflation. And so when you look at a store of value project like Nervos system, like Bitcoin, that's the market that they're chasing to some degree, right? So this one is unique. It has that store of value as well as the fact that they can execute smart contracts. I think that's something to keep in mind in what they're chasing. Now, when I look into these projects, I want to understand a little bit about their founders because I feel it gives me an edge in seeing through the bullshit if it's something that's worth investing in or not. So we have Terry Tai. He's the CEO and director of the Nervos Network going back to 2018. It's a long time to be at a single organization in crypto. Prior to that, he was a core developer going all the way back to 2014 with the cryptocurrency exchange Yunbi. He's also co-founder and host of T-Hour FM, largest technical podcast in China for developers and hackers. Okay. Then we have Kevin Wong, co-founder of Nervos Network. He founded and launched a school dedicated to teaching serious development. He was also co-founder of TR FM, and he only spent about 9 years at IBM as a solution architect and software engineer. Now we went ahead, we listened to their AMA. Good info there. If you're not listening to AMAs, you're a dummy. You're a bozo. Put these things on 2x speed, listen to it in the projects that you're invested in. They talked about the future of the protocol, upcoming fork, some of the tokenomics, some of the burns, unlocks, treasuries, how they're funding development on this thing to get developers on it. Bunch of great stuff in there. So I guess all that checks the box. Nothing in there is scary. I don't feel they're scamming or shilling or any of those things. They're putting in some work. Next thing we look at is their business partners. So with all that knowledge, what type of capital have they been able to raise? Polychain Capital and Sequoia are the two that I respect out of this list as backers behind this project. In addition to that, they went ahead and they forged a whole bunch of partnerships with infrastructure for developers, NFTs and gaming, block explorers, community development, wallets, which is a big piece of what Nervos is trying to do, tooling, mining pools, and security. A lot. So when we talk about this thing, it is the CKB token. It was launched all the way back in 2019. It played possum, it played dead until around February 2021, and it's ebbed and flowed along with the overall cryptocurrency market. So what uses this token? Again, it's a store of value. So if you buy this token, the tokenomics economics behind it is it's going to either stay the same or it's going to increase over time. I think there's been some headwinds against that with some token unlocks, but we're almost out of the woods and having those finished and wrapped up. In addition to that, you can stake this token and you can earn rewards. Now, there is also value behind having this token because it's the money, the economic component used to go ahead and execute smart contracts on their blockchain. Okay, so it's like ETH to Ethereum, CKB to Nervos Network. And we look at total supply, 36 billion. I mentioned this already, but we're getting close. 30 billion is currently in circulation. Now, if we go ahead and we look at this, it shows you the gradual growth of the circulating supply. And coincidentally, it seems to align with that first dump that we had back in May of the market. And then even in the headwinds of the circulating supply continuing to go up and up and up by billions, they still had a run in November. They had an ICO round where guess what? Those early backers bought into this thing at a penny. And if we jump back, it's at a penny one. So you can get in right now at the private sale price of a penny one. Not too bad, not too shabby. So we already covered that. Now we like to play the game of what if, and this is kind of bullshit in some ways, but it's still interesting to see because it isn't unfathomable to see that this happens. If Nervos Network went ahead and hit the fully diluted market cap of Ethereum, you're looking at 1,000x. If it hit the fully diluted market cap of Bitcoin, you're looking at a 2,000x. So right off the bat, I think you have to pay attention to it. We pulled up the Reddit, 17,000 members, fairly active. Not only is it active, most of the folks in there are highly intelligent, talking about things I had to Google to fully understand. Twitter account, 90,000 followers. One thing I didn't like, when I opened this thing up on my actual Twitter account, you can see kind of who's following them. There's no one in the space I respect who follows them right now, other than Sarah Brolin. Sarah Brolin, I respect you. I respect you, brother. But like no big VC firm, no exchange, no thought leader in the space. Take that for what you will. But they do have a GitHub, very active, keeping it updated. Dig it. Now, there's this Reddit article, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try and give you the highlights from this thing because I don't want you to have to read through all of it like I did. Key things to know. Key issuance of the token was 33 billion, and there's a 4-year halving cycle, just like Bitcoin, where that amount, that issuance is going to go ahead and get cut. 1.3 billion coins are added into circulation every single year. So if we look at the token, what's that? We still have a couple years before we go ahead and get all those out in circulation. They went ahead and they burnt 25% of the token supply at launch, which equated to about 8.4 billion. Now, when we look at the future potential, they had this article listed in their blog talking about how they're positioning for NFTs. And if they can make good on this promise, which is a big if, I think there's a lot of potential. So if we scroll through here, send and receive NFTs with no fees. If you're a brand new person to crypto, you want to get an NFT, there's an artist you like, they want to give you one, you bought one, whatever, you're confused right out the gate. You got to create a wallet. You have the secret passcode. You can't tell anybody. If you want to send it somewhere, you have to pay gas fees. What's gas fees? So for Nervos Network, they're tackling that. They're tackling that with their technology. Also, it's going to be built to be cross-blockchain. So if you have assets on Binance, Tron, Ethereum, the vision is that you're going to be able to frictionlessly, nailed that, move your assets between tokens, between blockchains. Talk about the fan economy, ability to keep those fees nice and low. Then go ahead and execute on that. I think there's a lot of potential. What else we got? Covered that. They mentioned this in January 13th. They expanded their protocol with a Binance Smart Chain bridge, Force Bridge, trying to lure in some of that sweet total value locked. They're also working on woken. That's their Ethereum virtual machine. Everyone, all these blockchain, all these ETH killers are working on an EVM because in essence, it allows a developer who's paying thousands, tens of hundreds, millions of dollars in change fees because they have to pay for gas to do it, to go ahead and port, copy and paste into a whole new blockchain without having to make a whole bunch of changes to their code. So that's what EVM is. And woken is live on Nervos Network. Now, another thing I like to look at is, sounds promising so far, right? Sounds pretty promising. Who are they hiring? Are they hiring? I jumped on the jobs page. This isn't something that you can fake. Can't market this. Hiring 2 people, not a lot. Doesn't mean that they're lying to us, but I think it has to be something considered. We look at the roadmap. We just touched on these. Bridge to Ethereum, bridge to bridge to Binance Smart Chain. I touched on the hard fork. I did not fully understand the reasoning behind the hard fork, other than the community had brought it up and that they were going to take it and kind of run forward with it. So if somebody in the chat or if somebody in the comment section of this video wants to educate everyone and share your thoughts, I'll pin that comment so we can all know what's up with the fork. Why are we hard forking? So where can you buy this thing? Pretty much every exchange out there except for Coinbase. Coinbase has some pretty unique requirements when it comes to listing. You have to show sufficient decentralization. And I don't know if that's the fact with why they haven't listed Nervos Network. The other reason is if it's potentially a security, but I think that's a potential pump if that were ever to happen. I think some concerns, I immediately get some concerns when I see something that's been launched for years, that has the same founding team, that fundamentally, although they've been making changes on the tech stack, seems as if they just benefited from the overall cryptocurrency market pump. What I would like to see, and I couldn't find it, I would like to see data behind who's actually using this protocol. Because this is its own blockchain, it doesn't show up on end of the block for me. And I couldn't find a native explorer that kind of gave me the data that I wanted. But if I could see what protocols are building on it, how many users are using those, what type of value lock are they seeing, I think that could give you and I the indication, kind of that last final sign off on if we're jumping onto something that's about to blow in a good way, I'm going to post this article in the description of the video if you guys want to go through and read it. Jonathan Carras is the CTO of Lions Chain Capital, venture capital fund. And in this article, he walks you through, one, the history of Bitcoin and Ethereum, because you have to understand that to really understand what Nervos Network is trying to do, but then also the potential that they saw in the Nervos Network and why they invested in it. So for me, I'm not buying it just yet because I still have so many questions. I want to better understand the fork. I want to better understand who's building on it, what type of transactions are they seeing, what type of value is being locked in along that path. I do have some concerns around why they're only hiring 2 people and why their Twitter account isn't followed by anyone else respectable in the space. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, right? Everybody gets excited when something 1000x's or 100x's or whatever, but nobody gets excited prior to it happening. People just like, oh, it's been going idle for 3 years. Who cares about it? Well, if you do the research and you validate, you figure this thing is something that's about to blow, you can get in early and be rewarded handsomely for it. So there you have it. There's my review of Nervos Network. I think there's a lot of potential. I still have a ton of questions. I'd love to learn more. Someone wants to educate me down in the comments down below. And let me think. Anything I missed? Anything you add? Nervos Network. Boom.